Dropdowns in Power Apps confuse almost everyone at first. Not because they are complex, but because you need to know the tricks on how to use them and how they work. The items property, the selected item, how to access columns in a selected item, and so on. Once you understand these characteristics, dropdowns stop being frustrating. Since this lesson is part of a full course, I'll leave the link in the pinned comments for you to check it out. Now let's go to the lesson.
This little kitten is very sad because you didn't like our comment on the video. Please like and leave a comment.
Hi there! In the previous lessons, we worked with checkbox, toggle buttons, and radio buttons controls. And in this lesson, we are going to learn one very important control that we use a lot in all the apps, especially for filtering. That's the drop-down control. By the end of this lesson, you will understand how to use and read values from drop-downs. Let's start by inserting a drop-down control on the same screen we've been working on. So let's go to Insert, and then we have in the inputs two options, drop-down and combo box. As you can see, at this moment, drop-down is in preview. I avoid using preview controls since they might change yet. They are still being worked on. Then I use the combo box. It looks like a drop-down, but we have more features. Let's insert a drop-down, and then we're going to insert a combo box on each side, so we can compare side by side. Before we start using the combo box, that looks like a drop-down. Let's see. If we play the app, in the drop-down we have item 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. In the combo box we also have it. But in the combo box, we can search. We have this option to type in here. So if we have a very big list, we can narrow down the options by typing something. Both have the items property and they behave in the same way, but the combo box has this option that we can disable searching, then it looks exactly like a drop-down, and we can also allow multiple selections. So if I allow multiple selections, then I can select more than one item. So in general, the combo box is a super drop-down, and we are going to use that one. Since it's also not in preview, it means we can use on our production apps, the apps that are going live to the users. Let's remove the drop-down and just keep the combo box. Now I will disable the allow multiple selections, and I will enable back the allow searching, so we have it as it comes originally. And if we look at the items property, we already learned that in the previous lessons in the radio buttons is basically an array of options. It's actually a table. If we highlight this, is a table, and we have item 1, item 2, item 3. And now in this example, we are going to simulate that we have to choose a department. So let me put a label before it, before we change the options of the dropdown, just to tell the user, select your department. So right above the dropdown, I'm going to write select your department. Okay, now back to the item properties, I could write the departments here. So let's say human resources, finance, and IT support. Okay, now if I play, I see the three options in here. And then if I go back and highlight this, I know that this is a table, right? In this case, just for you to know, we could treat this differently. Look at this array. It's the same as we had this function, a table function. So table, then we open the parentheses, we add curly braces with the value column, and we can keep adding more and more columns here. So basically I can repeat this line, paste, and close the table. And here I would change to finance and then IT support. IT support. This is exactly the same thing as having this array, just for you to understand better, because this is a table in the end with one column called value, as I already explained in the previous lesson. But now we can treat this as the same as this one. And why are we seeing this one? Because later you're going to see that we can have more columns to a table And that's very important when using dropdowns. It's important to understand that. Not only dropdowns, but all the controls that use items as an input. So right now, if I play it, we still see the 3 values in here. Okay, we are going to get back here later, but let's see how to read the values from the dropdown. So now, as we did in the previous lessons, I'm going to insert a text again, so we can show in the text what's the value that we selected in the dropdown. I'll put here on its side, and now let's zoom in again. And this is the dropdown for the department, so I'm going to rename it. Since it's a combo box, actually, I'll call CBX departments. Okay, now we gave a better name. In this text, I want to show what's selected in here. So in this text property, let's put the name of the combo box, dot, and then we have 2 options here, selected and selected items. If we choose selected, it's going to get the one that's selected, of course. Then dot value, because as we saw, we have one column that's called value. Now if I play and select here, we have the selected value. But we also have selected items. If we use selected, we only get the record that's selected. We have direct access to the record that's selected. If we get select items, then this is a table of items, because we might have more than one item selected. Then we don't have the dot option, because this is a table. Since it's a table, we cannot access the column directly. We need to have one record to access the column. So if you wanted to use this one, we would do, for example, firsts, that gets the first row of a table, and then we put dot and we have the value column. Then we see the same value. But in case we have more than one selected, then it will work differently. Right now we are going to work with only one selected, because that's the most general case. So I'm going to change to .selected.value, because I only want to get the one that's selected. There are still more things to learn about this. That's when we have more columns, and also some properties, such as default selected, that also applies to all the controls, that we are going to see in the next lesson, so this lesson doesn't get too big. So see you in there. Thanks for watching. If this lesson helped, please leave a comment, and also check in the pinned comment the link to the full course. If you have Udemy for Business, it means you can watch for free. Here I will leave you with a recommended video. See you in the next lesson. Bye bye.